Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. Today, we are going to actually be talking about a really important topic that's been kind of coming up the last couple of weeks. I've been observing some clients going through this, and just something that just came to me very clearly that would be really good to address, which the title I got during meditation, the phrase that was spoken to me was chasing Nirvana. And so what I was basically wanting to tap into is how, maybe each of us can address ways where are we really being authentic? Are we living our life's truth? Or are we in some aspect chasing some sense of spiritual salvation? Just as much as we've talked about on past shows, how ego is all about chasing down something outside of ourselves. We want to chase down, maybe a title, a role, a position, a sense of status. We think something's superior, something else is inferior. And how that chasing can actually be really exhausting to us and often can lead us very much off the path of our soul's highest alignment and our highest joy. And so the topic that I felt was really important to address is about chasing nirvana and, how some of us are seeking some sort of salvation through external factors, or even if it's an internal way, but we're not really in our alignment. We're not really allowing things to flow naturally and from love, but we're trying to chase down something. We're trying to attain spiritual enlightenment. We need to ascend faster than somebody else, or we're competing and comparing to someone that we see as a leader or a healer in our community. Maybe we're competing with them, or maybe we're comparing with them and comparing ourselves to them in a way that's actually creating suffering and is causing us to ultimately get off the path of alignment. And I think I've talked about different films that we can make references to of this awareness. But one of the films that I talked about a while back was 7 Years in Tibet, and how Brad Pitt was training for a while. He befriends the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama, he realizes when he's in his presence, he feels really at ease and he feels he can just be himself and he feels comfortable. But most of his life, he's trying to attain something. He's trying to be better than somebody else, competing, comparing. And ultimately, we can tell we're in ego mode no matter what we're doing. If we're suffering or we're causing suffering for another, it's something that we are competing or comparing. And one of the things that we have to be mindful of is if others are doing this to us, if others are projecting competition or they're comparing to us, it's nothing that we can really control. We can't make them stop comparing or competing, but we can make sure that we stay in our alignment and we don't participate in that. And that way we can hold space for them. We can speak truth to them about what they're doing, but not be pulled into that misalignment with them and not get triggered from it. And today, I had a client from the past that I've worked with, and she's come to a lot of events and different things where I consider her a soul sister. And I haven't seen her in a while, and she recently connected with me. We had a chat for a while, and she was sharing a lot of what she's been learning on her journey and how she's been really looking into some of her own behavior, some of her own ego, places that she has powerful opportunity to heal, and how uncomfortable that can be. And I feel like it was such a beautiful, honorable truth that she shared, and how vulnerable it was to speak that truth that, this is somewhere I've struggled, and this is something I see in myself that I know I need to shift. And it's really uncomfortable, but I'm ready to face it and I'm ready to heal it. And one of the things I was talking, I think last week or the week before, I was talking about how, and I think a few months ago, because this interestingly has been continuing, and I'm really in my own life movie looking into why is this continuing. But recently and a few months ago, I had some healers in the community like come towards me, try to attach to me, say that they sense they could get some kind of benefit from doing a healing with me, but then kind of deceived me with the intention of how they wanted to work together, and that it really ended up being about an agenda on their side to self-serve. And when I called them out on it and said, I'm not a part of that and I'm not going to be used like that, I wouldn't allow them to control my energy. Suddenly, I'm the outcast. And I've had recently, I say this publicly because I will not be bullied by people's misalignment. You may choose this. I kind of talked in my group last night. We were talking about clairvoyancy and empowering ourselves as empaths. And a lot of the women could relate to this in their own way of how they've been bullied at some time in their life when they spoke truth, they challenged someone who was out of alignment. And to me, I kind of joke and say it's very high school, like when you're in high school and maybe you don't want to do all the things the popular kids do and you just really are comfortable being who you are, and they heckle you, throw your backpack, they treat you crappy, they make fun of you, call you names, whatever. And what's kind of sad to me is that this happens so much in society, and I feel like it's worth addressing. And this need to, like, when I say chasing nirvana, what I've observed is there's healers, there's spiritual beings who are students or healers, teachers. It doesn't matter what role we're in, what part of the play we're, acting out. But what ultimately matters is that we're present and that we're peaceful, that we're showing up with integrity, we're being authentic. And what's interesting is I had a woman come to me and warn me that she had started a group and she asked me to be a part of that group. It was like a healers circle on Facebook. And I was like, sure, that sounds awesome. I would love to connect with other healers. And I will be very clear, I would love to connect with other aligned healers is really my mantra, because unfortunately I have been shown they're not all aligned. And the reason I say this is, like, when I talked to my client today and she was talking about how things were tricky and they were uncomfortable to look at her own stuff. This can happen with some of the healers in our community. It could happen with the president. It could happen with the priests in a church. It could happen with the doctor. He's a surgeon. Everyone looks up to him and respects his opinion. And maybe he makes a wrong call. Maybe he's pissed off that day and he does something out of alignment. But now he can't own that. He can't actually honor and speak truth about it because he's been put on this pedestal and identifies himself in this way that he can't possibly allow others to realize he might have made a mistake. And the reason I say that is this is a really big problem in the spiritual world from what I observe. And spiritual world, when I say that, I mean the world, because we're all spiritual beings. But in the spiritual community, as far as metaphysics is concerned, I observe this where if, let's say, you're a healer that is teaching some kind of, tantric sexuality or teaching about sexuality to others, but you have a lot of things you have to heal in yourself. You have a lot of sexual woundedness that you actually have to heal. Part of what I've observed is how important it is for that soul to heal themselves before they go and start teaching and projecting something to others. This is, of course, why there's so much misalignment in the world, because we get leaders who are out of alignment and they continue to tell others what to do from their misalignment. We see things in our education system, teachers that are not really living in their alignment and don't really maybe sometimes know what they're even talking about. And they're teaching it to students and telling them what to do. And they're not really, checking in to make sure they understand what they're teaching or that they're in their power. And I feel ultimately, until we can address this and we can come into our balance with this, we're going to create a lot of suffering. And if you're, for example, a healer that is helping others and you're assisting others with healing, but you won't see that you actually have some healing that you need to do for yourself, like you won't see that there is some woundedness that's deep down that you need to heal, then ultimately you're going to project that on people. And when I work with girls who, and it's mostly girls, I could say men or women, but typically it's women and occasionally it's a man. But when I work with souls, let me be politically correct on that. When I work with other souls that are on the path and they have a desire to be a healer, one of the main things I look into to help them as a guide is how authentic are you? Are you living in your power? Are you living with integrity? Are you speaking your truth? If, for example, you're not and you have stuff to heal and you harass other people who don't do something your way, and you try to lash out and scare people with your mean words, or you try to ostracize them in the community because they aren't bowing to you and kissing your butt, this is really out of alignment. And this could happen in any of our lives. Like, we could have a school teacher going through this. You could have a woman who's a therapist going through this. It could be a spiritual healer, like what the work I do that's going through this. It could be a baseball coach. It doesn't matter. But when there's misalignment and there's others that are bullying that person and they are out of alignment and they're in a place where they feel they're in a position of power and control, so then they try to get everyone else to believe in what they're saying, even if it's completely BS, ultimately you're going to cause your own suffering. You might temporarily trick a few people because, when this happened to me, I kind of laughed at it in a way because I was like, are you kidding me? This is like high school. But I laughed at it in a way because that's how I handle the insanity of humanity is I have to have a freaking sense of humor. But part of it I looked into and I was just like, what is this about? Like, why do humans do this? And big picture, what I know in my own soul with certain souls that have responded in this way towards me is that I won't kiss their ass. I will not bow to them. I won't go and say, can I please follow you because everyone else says you're a leader? And even though you show me so many signs of woundedness and you show me that you have a lot of misalignment, I'm going to ignore all that. And I'm just going to blindly go ahead and have you lead me. This is what each of us needs to wake up to. And I won't do it. And because I won't do it, there is a consequence. There's often a consequence for a strong, focused soul that will not tolerate abuse. And that consequence can often be beautiful, where you rise and you have a beautiful experience and you only tolerate high vibrational beings that actually will show you honor. And then the ones who want to disrespect you will insult you for that, call you, like one woman said I was like the queen bee, and oh, you just think you're the queen bee, Tawnya. I remember my ex-husband just saying, who do you think you are? You're so entitled. And I'm like, really? Is it entitled, or do I love myself? And do I tell you through my own actions that I will not tolerate your abuse? And there is a consequence, because when I chose that, let's go with the ex-husband. When I chose that and I chose to move away from him, he contacted all of my friends, all my family, trying to turn them against me, and was successful with a lot of them. But at a soul level, what I realize is whoever's meant to be in my life and whoever really sees me, whoever really has honor, they will be there and they will pay attention. Like, I had some clients that when this misaligned healer started contacting my clients and trying to turn them against me, luckily my clients, many of them are so aware, and who knows, maybe some of them got contacted and I don't even know about it because they turned and I have no clue about that. But the ones that contacted me were like, Tawnya, this person's saying this and it really feels out of alignment to me. But I basically told this person that what feels out of alignment is the way you're doing this. You're sneaking behind Tanya's back and you're contacting me. You're trying to make me afraid of her. That feels really off to me. And maybe you need to contact Tawnya and talk to her directly. Several people told this person that. And that to me was refreshing, because I was like, wow, these clients, these souls that I care for so much, they're really paying attention. They are actually practicing everything that I actually taught them, that Spirit brought them into my life for, which was to learn discernment. And so each of us have our tests. And I really look at it as a beautiful perfection to the dance, where I am not here to save everybody. I'm not here to be friends with everybody. Last night in our workshop that we did about clairvoyancy, ultimately being a clairvoyant is something we all have the ability to do. And the reason many of us are not clairvoyant, meaning clear seeing, that we aren't having clear sight, is because we're terrified of seeing truth. We're terrified of seeing the truth of ourselves. We're terrified of seeing the truth of the people that we've attached ourselves to, terrified of seeing the truth of our lives. And as long as we tend to go towards the fear of what we're afraid to see, we won't see. We basically start to put horse blinders on and we move through our movie very narrow-sighted, and we only see what we want to see. An example of with this healing situation I'm talking about, which is actually the opposite of healing, but the healers who are bullying Tanya's scenario, one of these women, I don't even know her, and she came and kind of bulldog bullied me into, you need to meet with our council because you're basically not listening to this person, and I've known her for years, and she would never do anything hurtful or harmful, and who do you think you are? And I was kind of like, who do you think you are contacting me? You don't know anything about me, and though you know this person so well, you don't understand how they've treated me and that I simply won't tolerate it. And the reason I'm talking about that today is because I realized last night when I spoke truth about this, because for a while I've kind of held it back, and I'm just like, what is my right to speak truth on? Because I have all these people telling me what's ethical, what's not ethical. Here's the thing. We get ourselves in trouble because of our rules, and the rules of ethics are basically teaching us as humans to silence ourselves and that we're not allowed to speak our truth. And when we're not allowed to speak our truth, that is when shit gets off. That's when people bully. That's when manipulation happens. This person that's doing this, I guarantee, really believes that they're on a mission to protect everyone from Tawnya because Tawnya just wouldn't kiss her ass, and that's what it really comes down to. And I feel frustration about it, but I feel like today I was like, you know what? I need to say truth about it and let it go because I'm not gonna feel like I'm losing my voice or my power to people who are out of alignment. And when I spoke last night about how frustrating this is and that it really reminds me of high school. Energetically, I'm tuning in. Okay, what part of me vibrationally has attracted this again? And that's what I'm tuning into at a healing level. And I'm ready to clear it from my vibration in all directions of time because I really don't enjoy it. But at another level, I look at it and I'm like, no matter how purely I live my life, this is what I've observed my whole existence. You could have the best intention, be the most loving person, and some people just want to hate you, period. And so part of what I feel like I'm helping inspire others in my empath training is we have to get powerful and strong in our truth and not worry so much about what other people think about it. If they lash out at us, if they judge us for it, so be it. Because that is the insanity of humanity. The insanity is that humans are going to turn on other humans that simply don't follow their way. And that is when they are operating from fear. This woman trying to turn my clients against me because I wouldn't let her control me is all about fear. And what's fascinating to me is that this person is influencing so many. But what I see on the planet is that I see how many souls are being manipulated and influenced by the fearful ones, and how few of us are listening to the aligned ones that are actually not operating in fear, but we're speaking truth. We're challenging the fearful ones. We care, like to the depths of my core, I care about all humans and all life. I truly do. I want everyone to find their alignment, their wholeness. But at the same time, as they're on that journey of finding that wholeness and that alignment, I'll be damned if you're going to treat me like your bitch. It's not going to happen. And if that's politically not correct and it's unethical for me to say that, I claim it. I will totally own that because I experienced this and it's bullshit. And I feel like this bullying crap has to stop. And so, whoever's listening to this, I hope this reaches those people that are doing it. I really do, because it would be really great if this just stopped and we could just take a step back, really own our stuff, and realize, you know what? Maybe that girl did piss me off because she didn't listen to me and she didn't do what I thought she should do. But really, who the hell am I to think she needs to? And me speaking on this internet show, whoever's tuning in is who's interested in this. I'm not going door to door pushing it down people's throats. I'm not, at the cashier in the cashier line and yelling at the cashier like, you know what you need? You need an auric clearing, lady. There's no way in hell I'm going to do that. And that is fine. There's an alignment in me that I understand that I must honor everyone's path. If I go to help a soul, it could be my family, it could be a client, help them and bring truth to them, and then they hate me for the messages that come through because they don't want to see the truth and they don't want to deal with their stuff. That is a big part of the consequence of being an aligned healer and an assistant for spirit, is that as many times as I've given messages that are loved and honored and appreciated, which is most of the time, there are also people who run by me like Jesus is the only one for me, and people that are terrified of somebody who actually can see beyond their illusion that they're presenting to the world. And that is a big part of what we all have to heal if we expect to have a healthier planet. Now, by all means, if none of you want that and you want to suffer and you love your chaos, you love your confusion, you love the illusion, you love bullying each other and competing and comparing, and you dig the ego suffering, by all means, continue with it. I truly feel like I'm here as a messenger to help show another way. And if that's not honored or respected, I will accept that. I feel like you think of like Martin Luther King Jr. came to the planet. His mission was to help people see that all humans have a right to be treated with equality. That just because you're black or white does not mean that one of you deserves honor and the other deserves to be treated like shit. He stood in his power with that truth. That was his sole mission. And the planet, a lot of humans were inspired by him and they wanted that wisdom. And many humans felt it was time for that shift. But a lot of humans hated him and despised him because he challenged their bullshit. He shined a light on their hate. He shined a light on how they treated each other. And because of it, somebody decided to go kill him. And the crazy thing is, that's the insanity right there. The insanity of humanity is that someone's going to go shoot this guy for just speaking his truth, speaking up for other human beings to be treated with honor. And what I, as a healer, just at times feel frustration with is watching humanity continue this insane behavior, watching the same crap happen again and again. And what I'm curious about is, when are we going to come to a place where enough is enough? When are we going to be willing to look in the mirror? Each of us look in the mirror. Because when someone's projecting on me and they're being hateful, I'm not just going to blame them. I'm going to observe it and I'm going to say, please get out of my sacred space. But I also will tune into myself. What part of me attracted that? Like, at some level, what part of me attracted these women to do this? Maybe there's still some fear that people are going to turn on me for speaking my truth. So thank you, angels, for clearing that. And I feel me speaking this today. This is me out loud to the universe saying, I am done. And I am grateful for this energy to be cleared in all directions of time. You're not scaring me. Who, all of you that are doing this, the ones that have decided to rally up against Tawnya, bring it on, because I'm not afraid of you. And I'm going to speak it louder and louder, because I realize in order for this to go away, I have to face it. And today I feel like is the day to face that. And I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So anybody who wants to lash out at Tawnya and hate and negativity, you can go for it, and I will block you. I will move my energy away from you, and I will send you love and light, because what I hope the most for is that you will heal, that you will find your own alignment, and that you will come to a place of peace so that you can actually want peace for others, not want suffering. I don't, in my own makeup, I can't even comprehend wanting to go to a place to try to cause such disruption for another personal human soul experience because of my own gain, my own jealousy, competition. It makes no sense to me. But when I observe humanity, that is a woundedness I see happen all over the place. Competition, comparison, it's ridiculous. And what I told a client recently, a person that, we're not seeing eye to eye. This person left my sacred space by my request. And what was interesting is I was told, I don't feel you're honoring me and seeing me and listening to me. You don't come to me for advice. You just want me to come to you. And I was like, interesting, because I don't want you to come to me for anything. If you come to me and ask me questions, and this could be a family member, a client, it doesn't matter. If they come to me, they ask me, Tawnya, what do you sense about this? I'm going to say what I'm sensing about it. I'm going to tune in and tell you. Now, because you can't handle that wisdom of what comes through and you don't want to do your work, now you're going to project it and you're going to throw it back in my face and then get mad at me because I don't come to you for advice. The way I see it is it's not an equal ground. It's like if I want to learn how to play the guitar and I go to a guitar teacher, I'm not going to be mad that the guitar teacher is not asking me advice on how to play the guitar. That makes no sense. Clearly, I don't know how to play the guitar, so I'm asking for guidance. So someone coming for a healing clearly needs some assistance in coming into their alignment, their power, clearing things from their sacred space, forgiveness work, whatever it is. There's all different levels of what a healing session will entail. But for someone to come to me and ask that and then be mad at me because I'm not coming to them for advice, it makes no sense. I'm not going to go to someone who's showing me how wounded and broken they are. I will help them because that is what my soul is here to do. I will assist them. But to you to get angry at me because I don't ask you for advice makes no sense. And so I just felt it was important for me to say that, get that off my chest, because I will not be bullied. I will not be harassed and heckled in this community. And to be honest, whoever out there wants to believe lies and manipulation you're being told by people, if you are someone that's very easily controlled by fear, you're going to do that. It's nothing I'm in control of. I really know that the souls on this planet that are meant to work with me, the souls I am meant to work with, the souls that we are here to create beauty together from a place of honor and respect and integrity, we will come together. And the souls that are not here in the same agenda or intention, they don't want to show honor, they want to create little posses or cults and clubs and try to outcast some to make them feel like they're not worthy. That's what you guys do, and do it. Go ahead and do it, but don't project that crap on me. And I just wanted to be very clear about that. So I'm going to take a pause. Is there any questions or comments? Because I really felt like I needed to speak truth on that today.
No.
Okay. Um, so back to the chasing nirvana, because that is something in here. When we're in a place where our drive is to go and fill some empty void in ourself, we're often externally seeking. So we're going outside of ourself to try to fill an emptiness. So a while back, I had posted a quote of that Spirit brought through me of basically, all suffering comes from this need to chase some future event. We have to go and grab some future event to save ourselves from the uncomfortableness of the now. We don't want to be here, so we're trying to escape the now, the now, to get to some perceived salvation in the future. And it doesn't, oh, hiccups, it doesn't exist. And so if I could be wanting to chase down fame. I need to be famous. I need everyone to love me. I need them all to hear me. I need them all to read my books and come to all of my events. If that need is so strong that I feel that will save me, I will be very driven by that. But that egoic neediness will exhaust me. It will probably exhaust many others around me. And no matter how much I get, it'll never feel like enough. And ultimately, this is me chasing. I'm trying to chase. I could be a spiritual teacher that's teaching the world about spirituality, and I have no concept of how to actually embody it and be at peace myself. And that's something interesting to observe in ourselves. If I think I have to go to an ashram and I have to train for, 6 months to a year in an ashram and suffer and meditate all day so I'll be worthy and I can reach nirvana, I can go through all of that. And then what I'll probably find is how frustrated I'll be and how really that didn't make me feel any more worthy or any more present than if I just love myself today. And so the tendency is that our societal conditioning teaches us to chase. Look into your life and tell me if that's not true. Because I don't want to just say that to you. I encourage you all to pay attention to your life and see, is there predominantly a conditioning in my life teaching me to chase, teaching me to seek, teaching me that I need to go find something outside of myself? Just tune into that question. And is there also this innate part of my being that would love for me just to arrive, would love for me to be present, would love for me to just be here? And whatever that is that's here, I will handle and I will face and I will, move into as it comes. So the difference, and I really feel this is such a simple thing. That's why I want to talk about it, because there's so much complexity put on reaching nirvana, this state of bliss, euphoria, this state of complete, ascension and awareness, enlightenment. There's all kinds of names for it. And ultimately, all of you have this ability right now. Every single one of you in this moment, taking this breath, paying attention and being present with this breath, have the ability to connect with that. I am. Like, I am right now. This is me. This is my life force. I am present. I am fully here and aware. We have this ability to arrive so fully that what we really each are seeking is this presence. When humans are in relationships and they're having conflict because they don't feel they're loved or appreciated, it's not because there's not love there. What it is they're not showing up for each other with love. Love is there. There's an opportunity for love always. Like if someone, like this situation I'm talking to you about with these healers, there's an opportunity for love to be there. It's just not being accepted. Love is being pushed aside, and anger, fear, that agenda is the one that's being given focus on. And there's this anxiousness, this uncomfortable dis-ease that would cause one to cause harm to another, period. If your focus is causing harm to another, you're not at ease. Simple as that. If you're in a place of ease with yourself, then you're in the focus of love. You are present. And ultimately, what will bring beauty and harmony to all of your relationships, including the one with yourself, which is the most important relationship, is the one with self, self-love, source, and self-alignment. This is a place of peace and presence. So if you have, let's say we have a couple people, two friends, and they're chatting, and one of the friends is very present. She's holding space. She's really listening. She's listening, not just ready to talk, not ready to just say what she thinks, but she's listening with presence of, I understand, I hear you, I see, I get that. Awesome. They're really listening, observing, understanding. That is the intention. Then when the person stops talking, okay, well, here's what love has to say in response to that. So now there's an expression coming back from that connection. And when people are in that place, what I feel a lot of clients that are with me when we're in sessions together, what brings them to tears, what helps them heal so much is not anything truly that magical, but it's very powerful, and it's presence. When they can feel my presence with them and I am listening to them and I truly care about their need, I truly care about what's going on with them, that is love. And some humans are not comfortable with that feeling because they've been so conditioned away from it. If we've been in such a hurtful, harmful upbringing of chaos, abuse, negativity, that's going to feel normal to us, even though it's completely disruptive and our cells are always agitated and fight or flight is always going. We're always uncomfortable. We're always not at ease. We're tense. That could be your normal conditioning that you've been raised around. But inside of you is this ability to completely shift and come into this place of presence. And when we can show up for each other from that place of presence, we don't have to chase nirvana. We don't have to race off to India so that we'll be worthy as yogis. We don't have to race off and take ayahuasca in some clan in the middle of, Peru so that we'll be spiritual enough. It's all crap. And that is a lot of what's seducing a lot of you that are on this path to spirituality are being seduced by a lot of things, and you're attaching yourselves to the tools. You're attaching yourselves to, maybe for you, your spiritual savior comes in the form of marijuana. Maybe it comes in ayahuasca. Maybe you're addicted to crystals. Maybe you're addicted just to being around spiritual gatherings where you just convince yourselves that you're different and more worthy and amazing than the rest of humanity. Whatever it is, this tendency to be chasing something externally and to be trying to fill a void is exactly the opposite of just showing up with presence. So one's trying to make something happen, it's seeking, it's chasing, it's needing salvation in some future experience, and there's never ease there. And the other is being here. It's just being here. Maybe your life, you're just a gardener and you're cleaning up the yard and you're mowing the lawn and you're planting flowers. You have an ability to do that with such presence that you will bring peace to your own environment, to yourself. Everyone will feel so connected and feel so much love in your presence. They'll love the gardening work you do. You don't need to become famous and known by everybody to be worthy. You can have the most blessed and beautiful life truly by being simple and present and peaceful. And this is something I feel like what causes certain souls to turn on other souls, like the experience I went on, is that these people are not at peace. They're not finding ease. Maybe they joined the spiritual community because they felt like it would give them a sense of empowerment and entitlement and they'd be better than others. Maybe they really like people coming to them. They really need people to come to them. If that's the agenda, there's going to be a sense of dis-ease there. But if your true intention is to be a being of love and to show up as love in action, no matter what you're doing, whether I'm teaching, whether I'm speaking on the show, if I'm working at Marshall Center teaching a yoga class, or I'm working at the desk, if I'm helping a friend move, it doesn't matter. What's powerful in my movie and what I know to be true is my stepping in with my presence. If I'm listening to my brother on the phone and he's going through something and I am offering him my presence and I offer him my honor of love, he feels good from that. And that's why he wants to call, like, hey, I'm moving through something. Could you just be here and hold space with me? That's really what each of us are wanting at the deepest places. And as we come into a place where we're really in our present power, we show up and we arrive, we're here presently, we feel at ease. It's an amazing shift that happens. It's so subtle. Just like each of you listening, as I'm speaking, if you close your eyes and like really close your eyes and just connect with your breath right now, this breath that you're taking it in, the breath's leaving the body. There's really no work to be done. You just let the in-breath come. You allow the exhale to happen and just be with yourself right now. Hear my words, feel your breath, and listen to the space between the words. Like, don't just listen for the talking, but tune in to the space of stillness. Right there, that present moment, you're all connecting with it. You're starting to go, whoa, I'm right here. I'm listening to her. I'm breathing. I'm connecting. I'm present in my own body. And I'm listening to not just what Tanya's saying, but I'm also listening to the space between words. I'm tuning into the stillness. And that can become something that we get really comfortable with instead of feeling uneasy in public when there's silence and we have to create chatter, or we need a cellular device or something to distract ourselves from presence. We have the ability to just be here, to really hold space, to just be present, to sit outside and just breathe in the fresh air and just watch the trees as they move in the wind, to listen to the birds chattering, their little tweeting songs that they're doing, or the water flowing in the stream. This is why nature is such a powerful sanctuary for so many souls, is because when we go there, we have this ability to be more present, and we can do it now. I'm sitting here in my room, in my house, on the show, and I can be very present. But when we're in nature, it kind of helps us to quiet all that chatter so that we can feel ourselves, we can feel the breath, we can be present with the trees, the wind. And when you get to that place, the amazing thing that happens is there's no need to compete or compare. When we look at animals, I really don't observe animals competing and comparing to each other. I mean, I don't pick up on that vibe when I observe them. They're just being them. When my dog Honey Girl goes to the dog park, she takes off, runs, and plays and just challenges her body. She loves to run super fast. She'll go and roll on the ground. She'll play with the other dogs. The other dogs are running with her. Some of them don't want to run, so they just go and walk off with their owners. And there's all these different energies happening, but these animals just are them. I don't see them trying to show off and prove themselves, or let me make sure that these ones know I'm better than they are. Well, actually, I do see sometimes dominance with dogs, but I feel like it's kind of like a energy of them wanting to be in their sacred space, and if someone challenges that, they will show them back. But there's a difference between just being like, if you're a dog, you wake up and you're like, I'm just a dog, and I need to go to the bathroom, and I would like to eat, and I would like to have my tummy rubbed. It's just very basic needs and very present awareness. Like, oh, mom looks sad. I think I'm going to go lay by her and I'll put my head on her lap. She seems to need my presence. And animals get this so much deeper than many humans. I cannot tell you how many stories I've heard where humans have told me how much they love their animals, and when their animals pass on, how sad they are because of how much that animal impacted their life. And when they talk about their animal, it's not because they were the most amazing runner or because of any of these skills. It's always about an emotional connection that helped the human. And what I'll hear is stories like, yeah, during my saddest times, my dog would just be by my side. Or, if I got sick, none of my family would even check on me, but my dog just came in and laid by me all the time until I was better, or my cat, or whatever. And what I see is like, I feel that a lot of animals have more figured out as far as the importance of presence than a lot of us as humans do. And, we all can shift this. We could all show up and just be more present with each other. And we don't have to seek anything. We don't need to become famous. If your journey of your desire, let's say that I'm teaching and speaking in this way, and it leads to, it used to be I was just speaking in my circle, in my home, and then it led to this internet show, and I have this ability to reach more people. It came to me, it opened itself, and I said, okay, thank you, I will continue in this direction. We let it come in and we just say yes, and we continue to show up with presence. But there's nothing I have to do to chase or seek to be enough. If I think that I'm not enough now, then I will feel really not at ease and like I'm not really comfortable until I know that 50,000 people are following me, or if I have 10 million likes on Facebook, or if I have, a million followers, then I'll be worthy. Then that could be something I could be doing also as a spiritual being, but my journey is going to be much different if I feel like I need to get to some destination to have salvation and to be worthy, compared to what I really am as Tawnya Love. I'm here. Like, I am it. I am enough. I am worthy. And I feel something that I challenge in other souls, that souls that want to lash out at me, it is because they aren't understanding what I'm really here mirroring to them. I'm here mirroring to you that you are enough. You do not need to prove anything. And the ones that I see suffering, competing, comparing, trying to lash out, all of you have this in common. You're competing with each other. You don't feel you're enough. You don't trust that there is enough. So you try to sabotage other people to get your share. It's all coming from fear. It's all coming from ego, and it will never save you. It will never help you feel better. And in essence, it's ultimately what destroys all the good in your life. It will destroy the relationships in your life. It will destroy the trust. It will destroy your abundance, your peace, your health. All of that is connected to that energy. So when we're in an energy where we're receptive and we show up with presence, we don't have to have dis-ease and tension in our life. We don't need to be competitive. We don't need to compare. We don't need to try to trip that girl on the track because she's running faster than us. We can observe her. What is her ability? She has this ability to run so fast. Let me ask her questions. What do you do? Oh, you meditate before and you eat lots of healthy stuff? That's interesting. I've been eating a lot of Taco Bell, so maybe I'll shift that. You can tune in and ask these souls and pay attention to the ones you look at with some kind of jealousy. If there's jealousy or competition, at some level there's something there that you think is missing in yourself. The way I see it is that if I am mirroring to someone something and they don't like it, I'll give you an example. There was the time when I was living in Arizona and I worked at this gym, and I was just about to teach a weight training class, and this woman came into the front desk, and I overheard her chatting with them like, "Yeah, I really need to lose weight, and I need to get some workouts, and so can I get a tour of the gym?" And your typical thing that people come into a gym saying. I overheard her. Out of the love in my heart, truly, I looked to her and I said, "You know what? Interesting that you're coming in and you want to get in shape because I'm about to start a weight training class and it's awesome. I would love for you to join us if you want to come in. It's starting in 5 minutes." And she looked at me. This is true story. Looked me up and down and said, like, "I want to look at you for an hour." And I could have taken that really personally. And when I was younger, I did. I used to cry, like, "Why don't they like me?" And their ego energy would trigger my ego energy of I'm not enough, and it would make me feel insecure. But that day, what I said to her is I said, "Don't you know, I am mirroring to you all that you have inside of you. And if you come and hang out with me, I can help you remember how powerful you are. And I hear what your need is. You want to get in better shape. You want to feel strong. I can help you with that if you let me. And if you don't want to, I honor that as well." And then I walked away. Later, this is one of these rare circumstances where you speak your truth and then it kind of comes full circle. A lot of times we might say something like that to someone, we never see them again, but we did impact their life, and those seeds did drop, and they kind of got there in time. They started to process what we were saying. But in this case, this woman happened to be married to a man who worked with my husband at the time. And so when I got home, I think it was not that day, maybe the day after, my husband at times said, "This woman, so and so, I can't even remember his name now, his friend," he said, "My friend's wife said that she recently went into your gym and that she was going to get a membership. She was asking him, and that you came over and invited her to a weight training class." And I was like, "Oh, that's your friend's wife? Yeah, I totally remember that." And he's like, "Yeah. And she said that you said something really amazing to her." And he said his buddy had told him, "Yeah, my wife was just blown away by what your wife said to her. And she said that it just changed her perspective and it really impacted her life, and that she just felt really bad for being so hateful." And what was beautiful, though, is that this woman and I ended up becoming friends. And she looked at me as that mirror instead of looking at me as somebody that holds something that she doesn't have. So if I'm competing and I see, like, let's say myself being a healer, someone looks at me and they're like, "Oh, Tanya thinks she's all that. She thinks she knows everything. So I'm going to start comparing with her. I'm going to compete with her because deep down, I'm not feeling confident in myself. I'm not feeling empowered. And she is empowered. So now I have to compare with her, and I have to try to find some glitch in her. I have to try to trip her on the track to make her fall and break her face so then I can feel better." And that is ego, and it's not going to help you run better. It's not going to help you heal. What's going to help us is when we see someone that challenges us, someone that's in their power, instead of comparing to them and trying to make them fall on their face, what if we observe them and ask them questions? Can you help me understand what I'm missing, because I feel really frustrated in my life? And be ready to hear what they have to say. If they listen to that and say, "Well, how authentic are you living?" Are you living your truth, or are you trying to people please? Are you actually standing in your power, or are you catering to everyone's misalignment? Are you trying to be enough by working with people that treat you like crap? Or are you really knowing you're enough, and so you walk away from those abusive environments and you trust the universe will bring a healthier environment? This is common stuff that I find in these people. When I have people that are hurting and they're comparing and competing, across the board, that's what's going on. At some level, they are not living authentically. They are not living with integrity. They are not actually honoring themselves. And I don't care if you're the president of the United States, if you're suffering and you're comparing with someone, at some level, the president has lost himself. He has stopped honoring his truth. He's lost his connection with his source. He's no longer having an authentic experience and living from integrity. And there will be a consequence to that. It will cause suffering. It doesn't matter if you're a president or you're the garbage collector, you're a mom, you're a grandma. It doesn't matter what your title or role or your life experience is as far as the roles that you're playing, like a part in a movie. The experiences are going to all be affected very similarly if you're not living with integrity, if you're not being authentic, and if you're not actually embodying your own power and being present. You are going to be on the path of suffering, period. If you go and you want to be a famous person, you want to have billions of dollars and then you'll be enough, go for it. Go ask some of these people. Observe their lives. There are people who've gotten millions of dollars, people that have so much stuff, lots of people kissing their butt, miserable, not happy. And then there's people that are homeless, they're sitting on the street corners, they're pissed off, screw you people, don't give me any money, and I gotta just sit here in the hot sun. Miserable people, not happy. The same common characteristics are happening in both of them. Some level, they've given up their power, they've given up their authentic truth, they're not living with integrity. And if they were, I promise you they'd be happy, because that is the essential core part of nirvana, is being present and being at ease with what is. We're not trying to race away from this moment. We are in this moment fully facing it. So if something comes to me, it may not be beautiful. My life is not perfect. I will tell you that. I love my life because I show up loving life. I choose that part. I choose to love life. I choose to love the hateful healers that are projecting on me. I still send love to them, but I will not cater to them. There's a difference. This is me mirroring to them healthy boundaries, which is probably something deep down they need to see. But if they can't see it, they're going to continue to do this with somebody else down the line, however many people they need to harass until they wake up to see, wow, maybe I could have listened to that first girl who told me, not going to happen. I'm not going to cater to you. If we can hear these messages, it's going to serve us powerfully. And we all have that ability. All of us together are from the same life force. We're from the same ocean of consciousness. And we all have the ability to show up in this moment and be present and be really connected and grounded in this moment and love ourselves fully. If I'm like struggling with my income right now and I'm struggling in my marriage and everything seems uncertain, I can hate myself and go compare with the woman who has a really happy marriage and then, treat her crappy because my life's crappy. Probably not going to help heal anything. It's going to create destruction. Or I could see that person's life that's happy and I could watch her. What is she figuring out? What is she doing differently? And how can I embody that kind of strength? And how can I invite that to my life? Maybe she really is comfortable with receiving love, so I make fun of her and think she's all that and queen bee. But maybe what really she's mirroring to me is that I have a need to accept love. Maybe I reject love, so now I have to reject someone who accepts love. Kind of see where I'm going with that? So this is where we have the ability to look in deeper to all of our life situations and kind of heal these deeper aspects of ourselves so that we can find peace. And when we're at peace and we're present, we are in the state of nirvana. We don't have to ascend in some way, meaning we, rise out of these bodies. I think that's a misconception of ascension, is that a lot of us think, if I'm ascending, that means I have to just completely reject my reality and I'm going to dissolve out of my body up into the light with the angels. And maybe that'll happen. That could be true. But what I feel ascension really is about, and nirvana is about, is being present. It is letting myself be so present that I don't get caught up in all the misalignment that's happening around me. I can observe it, but I can channel the consciousness of angels. I can channel the consciousness of source to find the solution, to find the love, even when all that's around me is a big shitstorm and there's hate and negativity and jealousy and corruption all around me. It could happen that I can stay the calm center of that storm and observe it, but stay very centered with my source and love my life and love my connection with source no matter what's happening out there. So I'm going to pause because that I went on for a while. So any questions or comments, Amnon?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So how about you? Do you have any comments on all that?
No, I think all I want to say is you go, girl.
Yeah, I definitely needed to say that. And I think you could even sense that, couldn't you, for a couple shows? I'm curious.
I mean, I know what's going on, so what am I trying to say? It's you're doing a great thing by doing what you're doing, and most people would not know how to do this.
Thank you.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all because you always want to lash back.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think that's the conditioning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of expected. It's interesting you say that because one of these people that I'm referencing really has been sending me hateful texts and things, and to where I'm just like, please stop texting me. But I sent her loving text back and just said, I really send you love and I wish you the best. And I am sorry you're hurting, but I really do not need to have this sent to me. So I really would appreciate if you'd stop sending these texts to me. But even then, like, when I went through my divorce, that happened where I really went through that in a deep way where hateful words were exchanged. And I was just like, geez, like, what are you saying? Why are you called? Like, I was called a prostitute, a whore. I'm like, wow, suddenly I'm a whore. That's interesting. And so these words can be very hurtful. And it feels like to an empath, I can feel the energy of them. But to have the wisdom to shake off the arrows and shake them off and not throw them back, but just drop them and just send love back as you move away from their energy. Because clearly, if someone's sending out toxic, hateful energy, they're really off and they're at war with themselves. That's what's really going on. If I'm at war with myself, I'm going to freaking throw it around me. But we have to be mindful to get away from the shrapnel, but not throw it back at them because they're already suffering. They don't need us to like shame them and hate them. They need us to send love to them, but also speak truth to them. And that's the balance. Like, I feel like a lot of us maybe are good at just avoiding it and get away from them, but then go talk trash about them later. Or maybe we're good at speaking truth to them, but we want to stay in there and fight with them until they get it. And I really think there's a balance of speaking that truth and then, stepping away from them. Let them find their healthy space. Like, if you've ever been around an animal fight, like when dogs fight, have you personally, Amnon? Have you ever seen cats fighting or?
Yeah, you hear them. No, I never seen them. We never had cats, so no.
Well, I've witnessed it. And so, like, as a human, if you're seeing a fight, one thing they tell you is never get in the fight and, like, try to break it up.
Right.
Because those animals will turn on you.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I see it with humans. If a human is flaring and they're foaming at the mouth and they're spewing hatred, the wisdom in me says, step away. Let them find their calm space. And it might be in an hour or it might be in a year or a lifetime. That's up to that soul, because some people will harbor hate for a lifetime and some will quickly have awareness come in and realize, oh God, what have I done?
Yep.
And the key is to, when you get that, oh God, what have I done? To really forgive yourself, but right then go and rectify things. Like, go and say you're sorry to that person that you were hateful for. Go and apologize. But this is the big drama, I think, in our human consciousness, is that everyone's so freaking prideful that, grandma's sitting over there like, back in 1870, I'm just joking, like 1920, that woman did me wrong. And so they sit there angry for a lifetime about some bullshit that happened in 1920. And honestly, I'm sure it was really important back then. But the point I'm making is there's a point where if at some level you were participating and you were hurtful, you lied to people, you had no integrity and you caused harm, rather than have shame and feel bad about what you did to the point that you just keep doing it because you have to dig your heels in now you have to convince yourself they're the enemy and they're evil. It's so much more empowering to go, wow, what have I done? Like, I've totally caused harm to people that were loving to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could say I'm sorry and I could make things right. That takes courage. Or I could just go and continue to say how evil they are and slander their name. That's pretty easy, and that doesn't take any courage at all. That's what a lot of fear and weakness would choose.
Right.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's not what I'm about. And that's why I feel like I have to speak this. And I know a lot of souls, like last night in the workshop, they were like, thank you, Tawnya, so much for saying this, because they were like, how do I handle that? Because that happens in my life. It's amazing how many of these women have had bullying situations happen to them. And I'm sure like men go through it as well. Like maybe at work, someone's bullying them or heckling them. And it's just ridiculous. I don't understand why we would want to continue that, because it's so hateful. And when we get upset when children are bullying other children, I can promise you that they're learning that from somebody, and it's probably the adults in their life. So we got to shift that.
Sure. That's
So I was
exactly
going to
it.
read a card before we end. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So here's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it very good. It's kind of a glare.
Tilt it.
Tilt it. Maybe if I'm not so close
Yeah,
to
like
it.
that. Tilt more. Yeah, no, tilt more. Okay, that's good.
Boom. There it is. Okay. It's called Hear the Yellow Tiger Mother, and it's from my Kuan Yin deck. Sometimes we must be strong and hold true whilst all around us seems to be shifting and changing. Is that not the perfect card for today? I seriously, I drew this card and I'm like, holy shit, that is confirmation that I'm supposed to speak truth about that. So thank you. So the yellow tiger mother, Kuan Yin, in her guardian role, is roaring her divine sound within you. Oh, indeed she is. She asks you to hear her, to remember that you are a powerful being of light, and even whilst you are in flow with universal forces, your strong roots help you to be at peace with your truth, standing your ground whilst your light shines true. And that's like what I'm mirroring to all of you today, is that, yeah, it takes courage. I'm up here on an internet show where this could go to whoever, and I'm not afraid of it because I'm in my truth. If I was afraid, I would go and cower and hide because I don't want you guys to think maybe Tawnya has some tension in her life. I'm a human being as well, and tension comes in my life. What I hope to do is show you how you can handle it. That's what I want to be a leader of, is that light, and that we have the ability to shine brighter when darkness comes. We don't have to retreat and dim our light. I feel like that's what we have to heal. So many of us are taught to dim our light around insecure beings who would like to take from our light, and that is not going to help this planet anymore. We have to shine brighter and have the courage to speak back to these beings so that more, disasters don't happen on the planet. Like when I think of like the what happened with the Holocaust, that is a lot of people ignoring stuff. Like there is no way that could go down without a lot of people dimming their light and ignoring their power. Think about that. And I have no intention to create that again on this planet. So no matter what's going on, we each have the ability to speak truth right away, or to just kind of hold it back, and let that darkness intimidate us and let it cause us fear so that we start forgetting who we are. That's not the best idea. In our surrender to divine forces, there are times when we must be flexible and flow, and then there are times when the surrender is into holding strong and being true to our inner knowing. There is inner truths that we know are worthy of the effort to grow strong enough to honor them in our lives, no matter how we must honor them. These are the truths of kindness, compassion, and the right of each individual being to be spiritually free, loved, and more. The yellow tiger mother sounds her roaring note within you. She is a fierce, protective tigress, and yellow is her golden strength and wisdom. And when I think of this card, I really channel Archangel Ariel a lot. And Archangel Ariel also shows up as a golden energy, and she is all about like roar, the lioness of God. She's here to speak truth. So I feel like this tiger, yellow tiger mother, and Archangel Ariel, same energy, same vibration. She urges you to listen for her sound within and trust yourself. You know when you need to stand your ground and not be swayed. Like I just showed you. I felt that today and I honored it. I felt how much that needed to happen. You are more powerful, strong, and courageous than you may realize. Your strength is not stubbornness or resistance. It is in holding firm to what you feel in your heart to be true, and in time, you will come to realize the wisdom of your courage. Your strength at this time is needed, like a protective shield providing nurturing to a young plant. Your strength and refusal to be dissuaded from your truths helps your dreams and higher path continue to manifest. So think about if we're afraid to challenge, our parents because they want us to go to college to be a doctor and we don't want that, then we're not going to have a powerful life if we go in a direction that doesn't feel right to us. We have to have the courage to roar our truth, even if others may not like to hear it. And that is the path to having a happy life. We have to really know ourselves. Allow yourself to hear the yellow tiger mother as she gifts you with power, strength, and knowing. Be brave and stay true to yourself, beloved. And I am so mirroring that to you guys because in my life, so many times I've had to get comfortable with standing on my own. So many times where I realize I'm never really alone. But there are times where in my movie, it may seem like all the family are turning from me, or the whole church is turning on me because I dare challenge something they believe in. Or, like in this system, the situation, the whole healing community ultimately could be all turning against me. I don't give a shit. If they're going to turn against me, they show me who they are. And me standing in my power, I show them who I am. That takes courage to not worry if you're accepted by the crowd. And that's what we all could get so strong from, is not to worry about, does the community accept me? What if they ostracize me because I speak my truth and I don't, bow to them? Don't worry about that. Be true to yourself and you will find your power and you will find the people you're meant to connect with. I promise you. Let's see. Okay, so hearing Yellow Tiger Mother. If you cannot do this exercise physically, then you may like to visualize doing the exercise instead. Stand with your feet on the floor, firmly grounded. Rock lightly on your feet, which is so funny. I just did this in yoga tonight with one of my students right before the show. Feeling where all four corners of the feet connect with the floor and then bounce a little without lifting your feet fully off the ground. Really feel your connection and your weight on the ground through your feet. Place your right hand on your solar plexus, so your stomach area, solar plexus, just below your rib cage, and your left hand on your upper chest, and say aloud, I am a courageous being of light. And so if any of you want to do that with me right now, put that hand on the heart, the other hand on your belly. I am a courageous being of light. I am in alignment with universal forces, and truth is my highest powerful ally. I do not need to force or defend. I will simply remain steadfast in my truth now and always through my own free will. I hear the sound of the yellow tiger mother, Kuan Yin, within my being emerging now. So this is like you are not just wishing you could be powerful. I am courageous being of light. That is you stepping in with presence and power. That is all that is needed. You don't have to go attain anything. You don't need to prove yourself. Do it now. Step in now and watch what starts to shift. And then the last part of this says, if you want to give a roar, do it. So do you have any roars, Amnon? I know you got sound effects.
I know somewhere.
He's like, damn. So if he has a roar, he'll bring it. It says, stick your tongue out and feel her power within. More power to you, beloved. So like, roar. Like in yoga, they do this like, ah. There you go. That was it. So really, oh yeah, I like the bass of that one. So you want to give yourself permission to roar, and maybe in your life you need to stand in your power before you go face your boss at work, or before you go face your partner, or maybe some people at the gym are bullying you and you need to and go speak your truth. Do it, because you are going to feel so amazing every time you speak your truth, and you're going to feel weak and you're going to feel afraid and vulnerable every time you shy away from your truth. Every time you let them push you around, you're going to feel weaker and weaker. Stop that. That is not a good direction to go in. And the last part of this card says, it's a prayer. It says, Kuan Yin, beloved yellow tiger mother, I need courage and strength now to be true to myself and to allow my own light to take root and grow. Please nurture me with your strength of spirit so that I might realize that I have your strength within me too. It is my strength, my courageous heart. Help me, beloved, now to realize my courage and have peace in my heart. I feel the roar of your courage and the strength within me, and I realize that this is my own courage too. Thank you for helping me realize this, beloved tigress. Om Mane Padme Om. So isn't that beautiful?
Yep.
So perfect for today, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, did you have any last comments, or did anybody have any comments today?
Nope. No comments. No
Okay.
questions.
Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. I am teaching this Empowering the Empath training, and I'm doing it as basically like soul coaching now for clients. I have a lot of remote clients that have wanted to participate. Some of them are doing it during our workshop, and others are arranging times to do it with me one-on-one. So if any of you guys are interested in that and you want to work with me more intimately one-on-one so that you can get guidance, I have a special going where you're getting, what was my special? I just posted it the other day. 7 sessions for $555. So you save quite a bit of money if you do it in a package like that. And I feel personally that people will get more from working with me several times than just if they do like the hummingbird, come drink some and then fly away. You can come in and just do one session, but we're usually just scratching the surface of deeper things you need to work on. Kind of like, think if you go to therapy and you just go to one session, you pretty much tell them your name and part of your history, and that's it in a session. So going and investing in this and spending some time over the course of a month or two or several months, some of my clients have mentored with me for over a year or two, and that is going to bring you a longer effect from that healing. And you're going to get those tools really where you're going to embody them more and you're going to feel more in your power. So whatever feels right to you, I honor that. But just so you guys know, I have that special running, and just contact me if you're interested in it. And I wish you all the best. Whatever you guys are dealing with, whatever is coming your way, challenging you, trying to bully you, face it and speak truth, just like I mirrored to you today. And I know that this is going to help change the world in a beautiful way if we all take our power back and we stop catering to misalignment. We have to change that. And it makes us feel so much better to be truthful and to live in our power. So I thank you guys all so much for tuning in and sharing some sacredness of your Sunday with me. And I will see you next week. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Brook, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.